Start recording. Start there. Go live. And we're live here on Facebook. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land, and also like to welcome my buddy and yours, Mr. Rich Hendricks.
Hey, Mike, how you doing today? Also, welcome to the folks listening to us on YouTube and Facebook Live, as always.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how was your week?
It was pretty good. A little bit busy here and there. Got stuff done. Ready to move on to. Looking forward to the Christmas time, but also just a lot of stuff going on. So.
Yeah, same here. A lot of things. We're starting to plan things out for Christmas, and caught a little bit on the. I think I'm getting toward the end of the seasonal flu that's going around the office and in general, just the Quad Cities in general right now. So I'll try not to the cough while we're recording today.
Well, speaking of getting ready for Christmas, we do have to let you folks know about a programming note.
Yes.
We will be taking off next week altogether. We will see you New Year's weekend, sometime in that weekend. Either the 30th or 31st, or the 1st, or the 2nd,
probably sometime before the 31st, because we got to make picks for the bowl games.
It's true, we do.
College football bowl games. So I'll be taking the iPad or my work computer with me when we travel down to Texas to see some family down there. So next week, so the next time we record, technically we won't be somewhere in Iowa, since I'll be out of state.
Well, yeah.
So do you.
So we'll also give that note at the end, but just a reminder, we'll be thinking, no, I won't be thinking about you guys. I will be thinking about spending time with family and remembering that our Lord came to visit us. We know that it's not his actual birthday, but it is when we celebrate his quiet stillbirth to come join us. So, and to put on humanity for us. So, with that, Rich, let's talk about what we got this week. Because of not being here for 2 weeks, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in the NFL. What else do we got to talk about?
Well, Mike, we'll be hitting briefly on the World Cup, as we have the World Cup finals. Will be happening on Sunday, so we also got to love you. So neither of our teams made it that we predicted, that we were kind of watching, made it. And Mike, and then next week, Mike, have those bowl games in mind, of bowl games besides the big semifinal ones that you might be watching, or that some local teams that you like to follow are playing in, because we're going to be making bowl picks next week.
Okay.
And in your words, Mike, the Cubs dodged a bullet. But all that and more, Mike, but what do we got to do first?
We got to roll that intro! Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And I had to feed the fish while we did that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they'll come out and say hi here soon. They should. Anyway. So Rich, before we get into the NFL, and it's going to be a long discussion on the NFL and other things to do, let's talk about our poll question this week. This week's poll question was part of our Stadium Music Series, or Jock Jams, if you will. In that, Rich. Okay.
All right, Mike. So the songs were Gonna Make You Sweat or Everybody Dance Now, and I Like to Move It.
Well, Rich, I we both voted for the same thing.
Okay. Which was, because I honestly, I don't remember this week.
Which means we are going to use our powers at B to make our channel vote for something, because we are at a dead tie.
Okay. So who chose what, Mike?
So my mother, your father, and your wife,
okay,
all picked Everybody Dance Now.
All right.
You, me, and Mikey a Roderer all chose I Like to Move It. So because of that, I am
the balls and sticks.
The balls and sticks
moniker that we can use to vote in these polls is going to break the tie. So who is balls and sticks going to vote for, Mike?
Well, I figure it only makes sense that if you and I are like-minded and voted for the same thing, that the page that we managed together would also vote for the same thing.
Okay.
So we are now at 58 to 42 for I Like to Move It. You just got a notification that we voted.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of being I didn't post this as the song, as the YouTube clip, because I didn't want this version of the song to influence the voting, but it had to have been from the King Julian version from the Madagascar movies.
I mean, yeah, that's a great vote there, and I think that would have helped it a whole lot more. We don't see that.
So I went with the initial videos.
I mean, that's fine. That's totally fine. But it wins. It's the one time. This is, folks, before you add us, before you tweet at us, before you get at us, before you comment on this page, before you comment in the votes, that we don't let the vote of the people. We stay out of. We make our picks, and then we let it come out. However, if there would have been one more vote for Everybody Dance Now, that would have won. We wouldn't have used our ability to add a vote to make it a tie. It just would have straight won, even though we both like the other song. So it's only in the case of a tie. Basically, the balls and sticks page is the vice president. That's it. Okay, this week's poll going live tomorrow is going to be what, Rich?
Well, Mike, we're going to go back to the baseball world, and we're going to go with two songs that Hall of Fame closers use to enter the field, and we're going to go Enter the Sandman versus Hell's Bells. Well, Mariano Rivera versus Trevor Hoffman, the guys that their names go on to the National League and American League Relievers of the Year awards. So we're going to put their two songs up against each other.
I want to talk about that. We got that brings up a whole nother topic we didn't even talk about. I'm going to add it to the doc. The trophy names that have come out. And maybe we can put in depending on how this whole thing works out and how long we go, maybe we'll end up talking about what our thoughts would be for the who would end up or what names we would put on the NFL trophies.
Yeah, that's right, because the NBA did rename all of their trophies after Hall of Fame players. But more on that later. So, Mike, let's go over to the NFL, as we got 1 week to give you a recap on and 2 weeks worth of predictions, since we're not going to record over Christmas Eve. So, Mike, the locks of the week, your lock of the week, Mike, was the Cowboys over the Texans, and the Cowboys pulled it off. 27-23. The Texans made it an interesting game.
A win's a win.
It is a win-win. And improving your record to 9-6. Mike, I picked the Chiefs over the Broncos, and once again, it was a lot closer game than we thought it was going to be, as the Chiefs won 34-28, improving my mark to 11-2-1.
That is why you never like. It's hard to. I genuinely say you never pick a lock of the week that is a divisional matchup, because you never know. No. In the upset specials, we had Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win over the San Francisco 49ers. Man, did the San Francisco 40, which Brock Purdy starting, still showed up, and they won 35-7. Who does that say more about? I would personally say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think it's time to just blow it up. Tom's done. So, and then Rich, you picked the Jacksonville. That brings me to 6-8. You picked the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars pulled it out 36-22, bringing you back to 500. The Bears had a bye week, so we had no game there, and yet they seem to lose as well.
How did they lose as well, Mike?
Okay, I was going to explain to that in a minute or two, because I figured I would explain how they lost when we got to the down to the power rankings. But you called me out, so the Bears being on a bye week and the San Francisco and the Denver Broncos losing meant that the Denver Broncos and the Bears are tied, and by strength of schedules, the Bears apparently have a harder strength, or have a easier strength of schedule. Yeah.
So technically, the Seattle Seahawks,
Bears,
who own the Broncos pick, have the number 2 pick.
So the Broncos, right, the Broncos would have the number 2 pick. The Bears now have the number 3 pick. That could still change, but that's where we are right now. That being said, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the power rankings. Let us know what we did on Thursday Night Football, Rich.
All right, Thursday Night Football was the 49ers going into San Francisco, and Brock Purdy pulled it out again, as the 49ers won 21-13. Mike, on the air, you picked the Seahawks.
Yep.
I went with the 49ers, and so we are both 11-6 for Thursday night.
Yeah,
and I don't blame you for changing, Mike. I don't blame you one bit.
But the entire time beforehand, how much was I jumping back and forth on that whole pick?
You were. You were.
I didn't know. Like, we had what was the body of work looking at Brock Purdy going into Thursday, or into when we picked for Thursday night's game?
Not much. And then even before the game, 2 days before the game, you weren't sure if he was going to get medically cleared to play in the game.
Right. I don't think you were wrong in picking either of those. By the way, we've seen, and the reason I picked it is we've seen Geno Smith doing well this year. Overall, he has done well, better than most of us expected. That's why I picked it. Serves me right. Let's go into this week. This week for week 15, Rich, it's an odd week. You get to pick. Or no, it's an odd week. You get to pick, or I get to pick?
I think we did do it opposite, but I'm going to stick with the picks that I made anyway. So my lock of the week,
I think odd weeks I pick, and then even weeks you pick. But either way,
we'll get back on track for New Year's. We already made our picks.
Yep.
I know I gave you the first picks. Anyway, so my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills over the Miami Dolphins. It seems like it's going to be cold. It's going to be snow, and I think both teams rely on speed and passing, which isn't a good formula when you're playing in cold weather. I'm going to give the edge to Buffalo, because it also seems like it's like people have figured out how to slow down or stop the Miami offense. So they're on a downward trajectory right now.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I like that pick. I'm going to pick what I think is one of the most lockiest locks that you could have. maybe the only seconded to a pick that we're going to make anyway. I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs over the Houston Texans. The Chiefs need to win in order to keep their dominance and to hopefully they're fighting for a bye spot or a bye week still, and so they need to win. They actually need the Bills to lose, but a win this week is going to be important. In the upset specials, I picked the New York Football Giants over the Washington Commanders.
All right, it's a divisional game, so I think that could go either way. Both teams are fighting to stay in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, yeah, the games are very important for both teams. For my upset of the week, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield delivering again, and they're going to beat the Packers in Green Bay.
Let's do it.
I don't know if it's going to come through, but I'd really like to see it happen, and that's the one upset that kind of stuck out to me.
Perfect. We also have to look at the Chicago Bears welcome the Philadelphia Eagles. Rich, do I really have to ask?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
We both put the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I won't say that. I can't pull myself to sing the fight song for another team, but it's what I expect.
All right, Mike. Week 16, Thursday night football. Amazon gets another great game as the Jacksonville Jaguars will be going out to New Jersey to take on the Jets.
Jets.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think this is really just a pick'em game, honestly. But, I'm going to pick the Jets. I think they've been a better team overall this year than the Jaguars. Rich, lock of the week for Week 16. You picked first pregame, so who did you pick?
I'm going to go with the Browns over the Saints. It's going to be cold up in Cleveland. I would imagine it's going to be cold up in Cleveland, and the Saints look like a mess this year.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good guess. It's probably going to be a closer game than we think, but yeah, I think the Browns still pull it off. I'm going to pick the Ravens over the Falcons, as the Ravens are still trying to figure out who they are, but the Falcons know who they are, and that's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're turning to a rookie quarterback, Desmond Ridder, and I really don't like what Marcus Mariota ended up doing while he was sitting in the walk-in clinic waiting to be seen. He miraculously, once he lost his starting job, he decided to leave the team for medical reasons, as he was saying that his knee was injured, so he'd like to start the rehab process.
Yeah.
So he's no longer with the team.
Yeah, it's fine. Good riddance. If you can't take competition, then why are you on the field? Who is your upset of the week? And Rich, I have a controversial one when it comes to me.
Yeah, my upset of the week, I'm going to go with the Raiders over the Steelers. The Raiders seem to be playing well of late, and I hate the Steelers.
Yeah, you do hate them Steelers. So, Rich, every so often we have to explain why we make a pick, why we allow the picks that we make to be made. This week will be one of them. I am picking the Philadelphia Eagles over the Cowboys. Is this an upset?
No.
However, when Rich and I determine what an upset is and what a lock is, locks not so much, but upsets, we use the pick distribution from Yahoo. I do not determine this. I help determine this by making picks, but in general, I do not control this. What did the pick distribution, as of the time of us making this pick, say about that matchup?
All right. Right now, the Cowboys are favored, and we're in week number 17, Mike?
Yep.
As of now, it's 16. I'm sorry.
16.
The pick distribution is 58% in favor of the Cowboys, 41% for the Eagles. So technically, that would be an upset picking the Eagles by our rule.
By our rules. Now, do either of us think that that's an accurate upset? No. But does that mean that if I'm playing by the rules, that I don't get to make that pick?
Nope. That is fair game.
Okay, and finally for week 16, the Buffalo.
We're in 17 for the Bears take on the Bills come into town.
Yeah.
For week 16.
We get to watch the Buffalo Bills beat up on the Bears. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when the Buffalo Bills come to town?
The Bears are going to lose.
Okay, me too. And then week 17, Thursday Night Football. Rich, what is that matchup?
Well, the Dallas Cowboys will be going down to Nashville to take on the Titans, and I'm going to go with Dallas.
Did I say the Titans pre-show?
You might have. I'll let you change it on air.
I don't remember saying the Titans. And I don't remember. Okay. I don't think I would pick the Titans. I think the Cowboys are gonna I don't know why I would have picked it. Yeah, I think it's the Cowboys all day. All day.
It's what you say. It's what you say on air. So I have changed it over to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I think the Cowboys all day. Okay. So Rich, let's get to our power rankings and look at our top 10. Okay, Rich, who do you have ranked? Let me go here. Let me go this.
You know what, Mike? Let's switch it up. Do you want to go from the 10? You want to go 10 to 1 this time?
Sure. Your number 10 is?
The Miami Dolphins.
Wow. I didn't even look at yours this week. And you did your rankings different this week. We talked about it.
I did. So automatically my rankings, because a lot of fantasy football leagues starting their playoffs. So right now, automatically, if you are in the playoffs, if the regular season ended today, you made the top 14.
Okay.
So that's why, in all fairness, that's why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they have a losing record, because their division is so bad, they technically get number 14 ahead of teams that I think are better, like the Los Angeles Chargers, the Seattle Seahawks, and probably even the Detroit Lions and the Jets. But they are making the playoffs as of now, so I had to give them the number 14 spot. So that could skew the power rankings and the ELO as well, having the because I'm sure our ranking of the Buccaneers is a big gap in there. But my number 10 team was the Miami Dolphins. They just seem to be on a downward trajectory right now, and their schedule is getting tough. So we're about to see what their staying power will be now that they're facing great teams in bad weather.
Okay, I have to apologize. Apparently my power rankings in my eye test isn't translating where I thought it should. So let's go here. Anywai, so you picked that. I also picked the Miami Dolphins this week on number 10. I just think that makes sense. And I don't understand. That's where they probably belong. In the number 10 spot, the ELO they actually have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. Who does the power rankings have, Mike?
The power rankings have the Buffalo Bills. Or no, I'm sorry, we're at 10. The power rankings have the Tennessee Titans.
All right. Well, the Tennessee Titans, I have at number 9.
I have to split between two screens. At number 9, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. Well, I'm not far off from you with the Ravens, as I have them at number 8.
By the way, the power rankings and the ELO, hang on, let me get here. The power rankings have the Dolphins at 9, and the ELO has the New England Patriots. And number 8, the Minnesota Vikings for the ELO. And
weird.
The power rankings, the Baltimore Ravens.
Who did you put?
At number 8, I put the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, Mike, who is in your 7 hole? And then give me the ELO and the power rankings as well.
Tennessee Titans in
Okay.
7. The ELO has. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the ELO at number 7 has the Baltimore Ravens, and the power rankings have the Minnesota Vikings at number 7.
All right. 7 is where I put the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. At number
And then
6, Rich?
I'm sorry?
At number 6, who do you have?
And just missing the top 5, I went with the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know what? I did too.
Okay.
That team, I don't necessarily.
Getting hot at the right time.
Yeah. By the way, all 4 of the power rankings themselves, your eye test, my eye test, and the ELO have the Cincinnati Bengals at number 1. Or at number 6.
6.
At number 5, the ELO actually has the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh.
And the power rankings have the San Francisco 49ers.
And who did you put, Michael?
I put, and we're at 5?
Yes.
I put the Minnesota Vikings.
That's where I put the Vikings as well.
That loss to Dallas really hurt them in overall. Like, if they would have won that game, they're number 2. But,
and the fact that they took a tough divisional loss to the Lions.
Yeah, that's.
Who are really getting hot at the right time too.
Yeah, those Lions are climbing for me, and they have a playoff berth chance.
They really could. I think right now the Lions are almost a team that nobody wants to play.
Yeah.
Because they're playing with house money.
Yeah. So, Rich, who do you have it for?
Number 4 is where I put the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, wow. I put number 4, the Buffalo Bills. They've had some strange struggles, I think is the best way for me to put it.
Okay, that's fair.
At number 3, the power rankings and ELO power rankings. Power rankings actually have a tie for 3.
Okay.
Or the ELO does. Power rankings have the San Francisco 49ers at number 5. And then and the ELO, and at number 4, they have the Dallas Cowboys. They match us. The ELO actually has the Cowboys and the Niners tied for 3rd place.
Okay.
At number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Who'd you put at 3, Mike?
Oh, at number 3. I thought I said 3. 3 is the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. 3 is where I put the Chiefs.
Okay. And at 3, the power rankings. Oh, the power rankings have a tie as well.
Yeah.
This will be interesting when we get there. At 3, the Philadelphia Eagles for the power rankings. And Rich, who is your number 2?
My number 2 team is the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. And then and the ELO has the Kansas City Chiefs. Rich, your number 1 team overall is
Philadelphia Eagles.
I agree. However, the ELO says the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
And the power rankings tie the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, Mike. Well, it's time to look at the bottom 5.
Oh, yeah. This is where it gets real fun. At number 32, everybody says
the Houston Texans.
And that's correct. At 31, I have the Chicago Bears.
I'm still rolling with the Broncos here.
And that's where the ELO has them, and that's where the power ranking has as well. At number 30, I have the Oh, wait. No, did I change it? No. Wait, that's wrong. That is completely wrong. At 30, I have the Broncos.
I put the Bears here.
And I believe we have a tie.
Ooh.
For 29. For the ELO. The power rankings agree with you that the Bears are at 30. At 29, the power rankings say the Carolina Panthers. The ELO has the Panthers and the Bears tied. And Rich, I have the Arizona Cardinals.
I went with the LA Rams here.
Okay. These bottom ones, I think from probably 14 down, 15 down.
I don't think it's that far off. I would
They're
probably say
garbage.
at least 20 down. It's really getting tough to see where you should rank teams because they really are that bad, and really all of those teams only have 4 wins. So it's looking like, all right, who beat better teams? And in the case of the Broncos, you're almost looking at it as we were expecting them to be Super Bowl contenders, and they fell. And even with the Rams, they just fell off.
They did.
Really badly because some injuries.
Injuries and all that. They're my 28 spot. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 29. And then the 28 spot that's where I put the LA Rams.
I put the Colts here at 28.
And I don't think that's I have the Colts at like 26. I have the and then it's bad.
I went with the Cardinals at 27, the Saints at 26.
Panthers at 27, Colts at 26.
Yeah, I mean, only because they've won one more game than those 4-win teams, I actually put the Panthers up at 23. Okay. I don't know if they deserve to be that high, but technically they've won more games than Jacksonville, Atlanta, and New Orleans.
Yeah. I have the Green Bay Packers at 20. Where do you have them, Rich?
I put them at 22.
Okay. Not a bad place to put them. Now, here comes the big question of the day. Where do you have the Detroit Lions?
I put the Lions at 17.
Actually, I'm not mad at that. I put them at 15.
Okay, and I think if I hadn't started, my playoff teams automatically get the top 14. I might have given the Lions a couple more spots. So maybe if they keep winning and they get a playoff spot, you know what? They're going to break the top 14.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's rough. We'll see how it goes. Let's head off the gridiron and head onto the pitch as the World Cup finals are France versus Argentina.
Yeah, so we already in last week's kind of like World Cup recap, we told you that the Australians and the Americans both lost in their beginning knockout round in the round of 16. And England, who was our third team that we were kind of following, just lost out to France, who is now in the finals. So, Mike, France, Argentina are going to be playing for the World Cup in Qatar Sunday night, or is it Sunday afternoon?
It's Sunday morning, 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. So you can watch.
You could skip church, watch the World Cup, then watch football all day. Don't do that. Go to church.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rich, honestly, Argentina has the best player in the world for the last 15 years. However, he's getting old. And France has the up-and-coming best player in the world. And he's quite young, but France has the better team around him. So I'm going to say France.
Yeah, I'm going to go France as well. Probably not going to be watching this game, but I'll be interested to see who wins.
I would enjoy watching this game. This is actually a game I would watch, except I'm playing bass this week at church, so I won't be able to make it to watch the game.
All right.
Rich.
All right, Mike. So we put college football as for next week.
Yep.
So games to keep an eye on, Mike. Obviously, the semifinal games to make the college playoff, and then we'll do the other New Year's Day games.
Let's pick those. Let's pick those semifinals because they're going to be played by next week, aren't they?
No, the games actually kick off on 12/31, and I believe we
Okay.
would record before that date. So besides the New Year's Day bowls, the two other bowls I was looking at to pick, Mike, were the ReliaQuest Bowl, which will see Mississippi State take on the Fighting Illini on the 2nd, and I believe Iowa's bowl game is also after the New Year's holiday. I can't seem to find it here, but I thought they made a bowl game.
My baby and I will watch football together on the 2nd. Then.
Very nice. So we'll get you our college football picks for the bowl games that matter or that get national attention, I guess.
Yeah.
Next week, since we will record before those games kick off. All right, Mike. So we kind of alluded to it in the outline of the Cubs dodged a bullet, in your opinion. So you wanna explain that one,
Mike? Sure. So this week, the San Francisco Baseball Giants made a monster deal. And by deal, I mean they paid him a huge lump of money, backed up the money tree, and just shook it until he was happy, and gave him as many years as he wanted to Carlos Correa, meaning that the Cubs don't even have to worry about it. They didn't make an offer. They don't care. Way too many years.
Yeah.
Good riddance. I hate it because San Francisco is a team that I've enjoyed. I got to see their first World Series run with my dad. They weren't even contenders. Legitimately, when they first started making those runs back in the early 2000s, or I guess it was the 2000 teens is when it was. Mm-hmm. My dad and I went out to San Francisco and bought tickets for $5. Paid $5 for tickets to go see the San Francisco Giants, and they won the World Series that year. So, I've always liked them. A friend of the family, Mike McLaughlin, loved, and when I say loved, I mean loved, the San Francisco 49ers. So, he was always an influence on me. So it's crazy to say it, but man, I'm not going to be able to cheer for him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well that contract's going to age, because it also comes with a no trade clause, no opt-outs, so they're locked into this guy. And he's already, 28, and they signed him to a 10-year deal?
Yeah.
That's
way too long for someone that old. Way too long for someone that old. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not really no more signings, but the only other signing the Cubs had from show to show was reliever Brad Boxberger, who pitched for the Brew Crew last year. He's going to come over. He might be the closer or a good 7 or 8 inning guy for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when these purse strings actually get opened up for the Cubs. They say that they have been. We'll see. Okay, Rich. So I typed it in wrong. Also
the
in the
NBA.
Yeah, I have it here. So we now have new names or actual names for the MVP trophy, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, the Sixth Man Award, and the Most Improved Player.
That's right. So your MVP award will now be the Michael Jordan Trophy. Makes sense.
Putting to rest, once and for all, who the NBA itself thinks is the greatest player of all time.
All right, Mike. Your Defensive Player of the Year trophy will be named after Hall of Famer Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Yep. Your Rookie of the Year is going to be the Wilt Chamberlain Trophy. And the Sixth Man Award is going to be the John Havlicek Award.
And finally, your Most Improved Player will be named after George Mikan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to win this anymore because he's gotten too old. but how great would it be at the NBA awards for the commissioner or whoever ends up handing out the MVP award to be like, and the Michael Jordan trophy goes to LeBron James. Like, how does LeBron feel about that? I really want to know. Hey, LeBron, hit us up. I know you're watching. Call me. We'll set up a time to get you on the show, and you can tell us how you feel about this.
Yeah. And Mike, there's actually one more. The Clutch Player of the Year.
Oh.
Jerry West.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's a new award. Going to be the Jerry West Award. Man, I think there is some good reasoning to that. Rich, you mentioned that there are new names. There are new trophies for the, or new names for the Major League trophies, right?
I thought there were. I guess not.
Major League Baseball.
Oh yeah, they named the relievers of the year get awarded either the Trevor Hoffman or the Mariano Rivera trophy.
Yeah,
I don't think any of the other awards have a player name tied to them.
Okay, and I'm okay with that. I'm not upset by any means, but yeah. Okay, so with that being said, we have about 20 minutes for a normal time. Do you want to end the show, or do you want to talk what we would name the NFL trophies?
You know what? Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
So,
we went a lot quicker than I thought we would. I mean, obviously, I think that, so you have like an offensive player of the year, a defensive player of the year, a rookie of the year, and then an MVP.
Yep.
Those are your, probably a coach of the year, an executive of the year as well.
Okay.
So those are your main ones that grab the headlines.
So let's start with one of the least headlines. Coach of the year. I know my pick. Do you know your pick?
Yeah, I think I do.
I think they're the same.
What coach comes to mind, Mike, that could have this award?
A video game.
Okay.
The John Madden Award.
Okay. The name that came to my mind was Bill Belichick.
See, I don't think you can use it with someone who's who's currently coaching. Like, that just to me doesn't work. So that's why I kind of did that. But that's okay. I mean, I think he could be that. How about?
But I think you could easily choose Bill Walsh as well.
Yep. I mean, could you go with Joe Gibbs? Could you throw him in the mix? I'm asking. I'm not saying.
Well, no, the only reason that Belichick comes to mind because of how many Super Bowls he has won.
I mean, if we're going based on that, then all of these have some pretty obvious picks. So we can do that if you want, but I like going with people who are older. We don't have it on here, but the executive of the year.
Ooh. You know, one that when it comes to like an executive that you hear a lot about would be Ozzie Newsome of the Ravens. He always got a good rap of being a great drafting and the salary cap manager. So I'd have to say Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like that a lot, actually. I can go with that. Okay, now we're going to get into comeback player of the year. I think there's only one choice. Alex Smith.
Yeah, I can see Alex Smith.
Okay. Do you want to go into defensive rookie versus defensive player of the year, or just do defensive player of the year?
Just a defensive player of the year.
Okay, defensive player of the year. What's your pick, Rich?
Man, this is such a tough one to think of a Hall of Fame player. Maybe Mean Joe Green.
Ooh, that's a really good one. I actually, I'm gonna come up with one that, as a Bears fan, you might boo me for.
Mm-hmm.
But I like him, and so I'm gonna pick it anyway. How about the Reggie White Award.
Okay.
The great Reverend White. Now, other people to think about for this. Junior Seau.
Yeah, Junior Seau would be a good pick. I think Michael Strahan, the all-time sack leader, would also be a good guy too.
Michael Strahan's a great one. Yeah. Okay. Offensive Player of the Year.
I think this is where you got to go Walter Payton, but Walter Payton actually already has an award named after him.
Which I heard a great argument about this week. I don't like it, but we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, yeah.
Man.
Offensive Player of the Year. I think you have to give it. I don't think it can be a quarterback because quarterbacks 95% of the time win the MVP, right?
Yeah.
So the MVP is going to be named after a quarterback. So the Offensive Player of the Year should be a running back or wide receiver. But I have a completely different one.
Okay.
Why not a lineman?
Okay.
The Michael Orr Award?
I don't think Michael Orr really had as big of an impact on the game.
Okay.
A big enough impact on the game to name an award after him. Like one guy that comes to my mind is probably Emmitt Smith.
Ooh. Actually, or do we bring it back to Davenport?
Roger Craig?
The Roger Craig Award. That's what.
All right.
I mean, I love him to death, but he doesn't deserve it.
All right, Mike. So an MVP award, typically this does go to a quarterback.
So if we're going to pick quarterbacks, and you're talking MVPs, who do you think it has to be? I know who I think it's got to be.
I'll let you make yours first, Mike.
Joe Montana.
I thought you were going to go there. I don't know how many actual MVPs he won during his career.
I looked it up today, too.
Okay. I mean, and I hate that it always seems to come back to modern players for me, but the one thing that kind of sticks out in my mind is Peyton Manning.
He only won two. See, I don't think you can do somebody that's still in the game. I think it has to be a Hall of Famer.
Peyton Manning's not in the game anymore.
Oh, Peyton.
As a broadcaster, he is, but not as an active player.
Peyton Manning is not a terrible one, but I think you got to wait till he's in the Hall of Fame. He's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Joe Montana only has 2 MVPs, actually. Also has 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
Yep.
So, you could change it. You could name that too. Do you call that the Joe Montana Award?
Oh, your Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah. Regular season. I mean, honestly, I think you're right. Regular season should be the Peyton Manning Award. Until Brady retires, the Super Bowl MVP should be named Joe Montana.
Yeah. So, Mike, the only thing that comes to my mind when you're naming these awards after Hall of Fame players is what do you do as the game evolves and goes further along? What constitutes a name change, if at all? If somebody thinks that there's a better defensive player later on as the game evolves and keeps growing, what would constitute the name changing? If they're in the odd event or if a controversy hits one of those stars.
By the way, I'm changing the name of my defensive player of the year.
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor.
I thought about LT. But we've seen controversies happen with people or they get some bad press for one reason or another.
This is why you name it after people that are either dead or so old that it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, I think if you name it after dead people, most of the dead people we're not gonna like. Are we gonna dig something up about Junior Seau? Are we gonna dig something up about? By the way, offensive player of the year. I have who that one is going to be too. Jim Brown. That has to be the Jim Brown Award. But if you name it after either A, people that are dead, or B, people that are so old that if they were going to be drugged through the mud, it would have happened already. Like, and you just can't change it until somebody either dies or is so old that we know that nothing bad is going to come out about it. You couldn't. I'm sorry. You couldn't name it. You couldn't name any of the awards after currently playing. Like, you couldn't do the Aaron Rodgers because some of the stuff that's come out of his mouth over the last 3 years, I don't know that he won't get canceled in the next 5.
Yeah, or do you see? I mean, thinking about it, I mean, a lot of people think that LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time. One of the greatest players, that maybe not the greatest player, but one of the greatest players. So do you rename one of those awards after him, or do you name a different award after him? Maybe like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hard one. So I guess that inevitable question, if I can pose it a different way, when do we allow the change of the Lombardi Trophy to turn into the John Madden Trophy? When you talk about football, if you talk football with 95% of the country, John Madden probably comes up, correct?
Yeah, I think that's a
kids know it for the video game. Adults know it for people our age and younger know it for the video game. People our age and older know it for his announcing, his coaching, not so much his playing. You got to be really old to know it for his playing. But when do we change? So that your inevitable question is, when do we change the Lombardi Trophy to the John Madden Trophy? I think that'd be okay to do now. I actually do. But are we steeped in enough tradition that the Lombardi Trophy is never going to change?
I think those awards are. I mean, you have like the AFC and the NFC championship trophies known as the George Halas and the Clark Hunt trophies.
Yeah. And so we're at a point where at some point it becomes tradition and at some point you just don't. I actually don't like that the NBA named their trophies after these people. The amount of crap that has come out that is known about Michael Jordan and how he was a womanizer, how those things have never stuck with him and gotten him quote unquote canceled is slightly beyond me.
Because he didn't play during the time of social media.
But either way, he's still beloved today. Like, don't get me wrong, he's my favorite player of all time. I also don't tend to quote unquote cancel people.
Unless you played for the Houston Astros.
Well, those guys deserve to be canceled.
You just said you don't cancel people.
If you ever threaten to call the MVP award, the Carlos Correa award, I will turn my back on you for all of 5 seconds and then tell you you're wrong. So it's just one of those things. So, okay, Rich, we are close enough we are at 54 minutes. Do you have any shout outs this week?
I do. It's I gotta wish a happy anniversary to my wonderful wife Amy. It's been 12 wonderful years. Looking forward to many, many more.
Yeah, that's awesome. I second that. We also have a shout out for a fan of the show.
Okay.
David Hovinga has his birthday tomorrow.
Nice.
So, happy anniversary, you two. Thank you for doing the show tonight, Rich. We, once again, for those that missed it at the top of the show, we will not be on until either the 30th or early morning the 31st. Period. That's where we're at. We're not going to be on.
That is right.
So
enjoy the Christmas with your family. Enjoy the time. So it's always, as it'll be a busy time for both of us with family obligations, and also, I mean, it's just a good time just to take a good break and just enjoy the time of year.
And remember that it's not about his actual birthday, but we're celebrating Emmanuel, God with us. The Lord, the Word become flesh and dwelt among us. Ponder that for the next week. You should ponder that forever. If you have questions about that, reach out to Rich and I. You know where you can find us here on Facebook, either in our Facebook group or on this page, or in our personal ones. We're both public. You can find us fairly easily. You'll see us vote. You see us comment. Find us there if you have any questions about that. Rich, people are participating in Facebook stuff, but want to take us on the road with them. Where should they go?
You know, Mike, you can look up our show anywhere where you find your other podcasts. Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, just to name a few. Just type in Balls and Sticks, and you'll see Mike and I looking like we're swinging baseball bats in tuxedos. So, Mike, if they're listening to us out in podcast land and they want to see the video portion of the show, where can they find that video, Mike?
You can check us out on YouTube. Search for Balls and Sticks. Look for that same picture, and that's where you'll find us. And if you are participating in any of those, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and rate and review. Give us a 5-star review if you think we're doing well. If you think there's stuff for us to improve, let us know. We want to know. Send us a message. Any of those. Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.